Well, I think you give them a lot of credit um, in the liberal Jews, um, because I think it has to do because it's. I'm going to say something hard. I'm sorry. I apologize, but
I expect it from you. It's okay.
okay.
I'm listening.
Um, I'm not sorry for saying it. I'm sorry that it can cause hurt, but it's so much more comfortable to rely on our pursuit of justice and actually to stay in this pursuit of human justice, meaning that we know the criteria. It's very simple. When someone is in need, help. But to make out of it a religion, it says that it's substitute belief in God. It's a complete secular stand. It's very comfortable for a Jew to say, I reserved and I preserve my Jewish identity or my belief through that. But actually, what he's saying, I don't believe in the goodness of God.
And I think this is the heart of the question,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
That how does one reconcile our being created this way
Mm.
as being somehow it was necessary? It's what you've been guiding us to try and understand about Na'asa Adam.
Mhm. It means okay. Let's start to go into it. Uh, Definitely, this is the heart of the question. This is definitely the heart of the question of last generation.
Mm.
Okay, so um, if the whole creation is the will to receive to oneself, it is quite clear what humans will be prone to.
Yeah.
Okay. And the history, but the whole idea of let's make Adam uh, and let's create it is not the word, but let's do it together. It means that the responsibility or the structure, uh, what what is innate in the structure is oppositions. Is the position for the conscious part of of humanity to be able to choose. But it's not only because the choice was uh, that good in the eyes of the creator is to be able to choose. Because we know that actually we are given the sort of the permission and the arena to choose in order to be able uh, not not to need to choose. So choosing is a training. So if it's a training or means and ways, it's not the purpose. So
Mm.
the purpose need to be something else uh, than the choice. The choice is sort of will sort humanity out as part of it says we're saying choice as though humans or Adam can change the outcome. We cannot change the outcome. The
Mm.
purpose of creation to bestow goodness to his createe will be done. It will be like that. Whether we
Mm.
choose differently or not, it will not change it. What will change it is um, the way we will arrive to it in terms of being partners or being enslaved by the reality of it or forced by the reality of it in a forced to experience good. Yeah. So choice is the way for us to understand first that the best way that the creator perceived goodness is through growth, through
Growth.
evolution,
Mm.
growth, yeah, and evolution, and not otherwise. It was an complete automated um, robotic creation and Adam in it, meaning no place to make mistakes, no place to learn, no place to pledge oneself from a deep place in my heart or in our hearts, knowing that something is allowing us actually to learn in order to be better partners. So I think goodness, or good in terms of the creator, is not only that we have free choice, is that we agree that the best way is through faith, meaning through overcoming our limitations. So in order to overcome our limitations, we need to first recognize them, to be conscious of them. And the way to be conscious of them is to know that we have that kind of nature, the will to receive, that it is part of the deal, and then we need the help, therefore the partnership, with that part in ourselves, which was given from him. So we need to find ways how to actually make it our master. It's so I'm saying it's as though the creator gave us many times the ability to divorce him, but he did not give himself the permission to divorce us.
Well, except in the Garden of Eden, the implication is that God divorced us.
No, the choice of this is an understanding of the why, when Adam chose to eat from the tree of knowledge, he actually chose exile. He knew that so he chose exile. So actually, the whole issue of exile and redemption is due to the choice of Adam. So he had a choice. He had a choice not to eat and to stay in the Garden of Eden. He knew that death means he will die, or definitely in the language of the beginning. The language of the beginning suggests that the light that was available to Adam will not be there anymore, meaning the Garden of Eden, the place which is Malchut, that can be a garden. All the lights will ascend from it, and he will be in exile from the state of the Garden of Eden. So he chose it.
So I have problems here. First, how does he even know what that is if he's never experienced it? Right? When God says, don't eat of this lest you die, Adam has no idea what death is. So,
well, die was clear. Let's say that he did not have the perception of death as we perceive death. But death, in terms of the letter, was being removed from the state of, let's say, intimacy and knowing that you are in now. You see, it's a choice of with what would you like to copulate? With what would you like to be partner with?
okay, I'm
So,
very confused.
but now we were saying, well, all humanity is sort of responsible because of the choice of Adam, but Adam is all humanity. So all humanity chose it. We cannot say one person. No, Adam and Eve is we all chose, actually.
But chose not because it was dark, chose because it seemed to be filled with wisdom.
yes, but when we choose sort of a good and evil, we sort of adopting and taking upon ourselves to be responsible for our choices. We can choose good because it is not called the tree of knowing evil only.
Right.
It's called the tree of knowing the difference.
Right. So the sin, I've always understood the sin to actually, and I know you've talked about it differently, the moment where God says ayeka, and who told you and how did you eat, and that they blame each other, that's the moment of true sin, not the withdrawal per se.
It's if you would like to speak about sin in Hebrew, it's not like in English. In English, actually, the esoteric meaning of sin is the hole in your completion. Something is different, or an alien energy penetrates you. That's the meaning of sin, which is to do more with the Christian idea of sin. The Hebrew, within its combination of letter, speaks about, let's say, missing something, not in terms of that, to miss the target, miss the target. Yeah. No.
But was this a chet or was this more of an avon? And the article distinguishes also between the two.
But in Hebrew, the sort of to miss the point is part of. It means that sin or chet in Hebrew is part of learning.
Totally.
Yeah, of growing. Okay, so there are levels. Let's say avon and chet, meaning sort of wrongdoing, one can say, and an actual sin, but they are all, we perceive them as in a sense of the next level, which is punishment and reward. So sin or wrongdoing, sort of, we await the punishment. If we've done it, we sort of we now will receive the punishment, and then we'll be like doomed forever unless some person will come and save us, or it's a process of learning. Because when we speak about, or when we look at how the Kabbalistic language and view of let's say of punishment and reward, it's not a measurement of of a whip, or of measurement of punishment or reward. It's measurement of distance and closeness to the intention of creation of the creator. So punishment for me is not my uncomfortability or something that happens that is not to my liking. Punishment is the sense that I've been pushed away from the from being able to be close. Now, being close for the will to receive to oneself can be completely and utterly inconvenient. It's not, people say, I want to be close to the light, I want to be close to the creator. It's completely and utterly excruciating to be close. Excruciatingly painful. Because you cannot escape, my being a separating agent. Now, reward is not a big deal as well, because it's more responsibility and a preparation for for being thrown away to further and to be prepared for, I would say, a greater distance, how to overcome. Now, when you say that the prayer was always there, it's not accurate. It suggests that every prayer, there is first an intentional and almost personal response from the Creator to allow us to pray, each one. It's sort of a permission that is not lying there. It's actively given. It's different.
No,
It's
that's
not
nice.
that I'm entering sort of a warehouse full of communication sort of systems, and I pick one. No.
Yeah.
It's a state of mind that gets a very personal signal. Then that when I am able to pray a true prayer, should feel it. That it's already been answered by the ability. Now we go back because it's a permission for closeness. Come closer so I can hear truly what you're saying. Come closer so I can hear truly human complaint, human situation.
I think the paradox, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think the paradox again is in this, and I just think about this because I think about my congregational community. I think about colleagues who struggle with trying to draw people into this, that the paradox is that it's so hard. And why should it be so hard?
Why should I understand the question, but I really don't understand where the question is coming from, because it suggests that it should be easy.
Yeah.
So it's hard on us. So why have you done it so hard? So it's hard. It's our perception.
Right.
Okay?
Because of how we've shaped ourselves.
Yeah. What we shape to be, how we think sort of spirituality and God and goodness should conduct itself. How it should be. It should be with easement. It should be with what we expect, and the name that even the Hebrew gave, that is the name of God is Noam. Yeah, it's the name of Bina. Okay, so there is, but it's as I said in Hebrew, Noam, which is to do with how would I translate Noam?
Pleasant.
Yes, but it has sort of more delicacy into it. It's more refined. It has it's a flow. It's a flow of sentiment. One can say, but it cannot be without its opposition or the opposition or the completion of it. We perceive it as opposition, then it becomes completion. The completion that it has an address. An address. And if we do not address ourselves, and this is to do, we're coming back to this portion, because it's about addressing oneself, approaching, attitude. If we do not address ourselves in the way, we will never feel this refined sentiment. We are not able to. But then we will say, but he's so harsh. And most religion will accuse Judaism as having a very harsh God, punishing, law, let's say in competition with the Muslims in terms of who is more sort of fierce. But this is how we make the assumption. Then based on this assumption, we make the judgment and we say, why so hard? We never check our assumption.
Right.
Okay.
And the assumption is something that the perception is actually something created by, one could argue, the rabbis in the system of mitzvah as commandment with reward and punishment, and that's all human based.
Yeah, and not it's never sort of it need to be pursued by, at least by the line of Kabbalah that we study. It need to be pursued that we are looking for a discourse. We are looking to converse with, to connect to. And it's a language of that connection, or the lack of that connection. But it's not a question of how humans will perceive it by themselves. By themselves is already the pivot of sin. So the pivot is how we perceive the whole system. Well, it's hard on us. Let's complain about God and let's manage better. Let's manage it better. We will never be able to manage it better. Human history proves it. So sometimes this is why I'm saying that it's maybe a small step, but truly it was huge for Yehuda to actually see all that and to perceive providence at that moment, and to perceive that he wished to be under this providence, even though he's going to sacrifice his life and to be the slave of Yosef. Because he will not allow his father to suffer, his brothers to suffer. He's responsible. So though he's stronger than Pharaoh, he's more fierce than Yosef, he will do the first step. Meaning, why actually Yosef is exploding? And that's why he cannot hold himself. It's because he saw how Judah, or if you like, I will use not a very Jewish word, but Judah is a prefiguration of David. It's the whole wills and desires of humanity. If they actually accept being under the providence inside a bigger plan, in cooperation with that plan, and they actually agree to serve it, then redemption cannot hold itself.